Hello, today we'll see the Oracle database 12C and the SQL language part 2, presented by Shen Encyclopedia topic. Please follow the session to get the benefit of your effort. What means Oracle server? An Oracle server is a database management system that provides an open, comprehensive, integrated approach to information management. Consists of an Oracle instance and an Oracle database. This is the Oracle server. Oracle instance. An Oracle instance is a means to access an Oracle database. Always opens one and only one database. Consists of memory and the background processes structures. So first, we see the component of instance. We have memory structures, and there are the background process structures. So this is the instance. In the instance, we find the SGA, System Global Area. And in the SGA, we can find the shared pool. And the shared pool, we have library cache and data dictionary cache. Also in the SGA, System Global Area, we have database buffer cache and Redolog buffer and Java pool and large pool. There are the background process structures. We have pmoon, smoon, DB writer, log writer, checkpoint, others. Oracle database instance. An Oracle database instance consists of Oracle's main memory structure called the System Global Area, SGA, System Global Area. Also now, as shared global area and several Oracle background processes, when the user accesses the data in the database, it is the SGA, System Global Area, with which the server processes communicates. Oracle memory structures. The SGA is a shared memory area. All the users of database share the information maintained in this area. Oracle allocates memory for the SGA, System Global Area, when the instance is started, and delocates it when the instance is shut down. The SGA consists of 3 mandatory components and 4 optional components. Required SGA component. SGA component and description. Shared pool caches. The most recently used SQL statement that have been issued by database users. Database buffer cache caches the data that has been most recently accessed by database users. Redolog buffer stores transaction information for recovery purposes. User and server process. At the user level, two types of processes allow a user to interact with the instance and ultimately with database. The user process and the server process. Oracle starts a user process to support the user's connection to the instance. The user process exists either on the user's own computer or on the middle-tier application server. The user process then initiates a connection to the instance. User and server processes. Oracle calls the process of initiating and maintaining communication between the user process and the instance a connection. Once the connection is made, the user establishes a session in the instance. After establishing a session, each user starts a server process on the host server itself. It is this server process that is responsible for performing the tasks that actually allow the user to interact with the database. The server processes are allowed to interact with the instance, but not the user process directly. Server processes generally have one-to-one relationship with user processes. In other words, each user process connects to one and only one server process. However, in some Oracle configurations, multiple user processes can share a single server process. The relationship between user and server process and the PGA. In the host server, we find the Oracle server. Oracle server is the Oracle instance and the database. This is the relationship between user process and server process and the PGA, Program Global Area. The relationship between user and server process and the PGA, Program Global Area, in addition to the user and server process that are associated with each user connection. An additional memory structure called the Program Global Area PGA, Program Global Area, is also created for each server process. The PGA stores user-specific session information such as bind variable and session variables. Every server process on the server has a PGA memory area. As the DBA database administrator, you set the total memory that can be allocated to all the PGA memory allocated to all server and the background processes. The components of PGA are SQL work area used for memory intensive operation such as sorting or building a hash table during join operations. Private SQL area, private SQL area holds information about SQL statement and bind variables value. So I repeat, private SQL area holds information about SQL statement and bind variable values. The PGA, Program Global Area, can be configured to manage automatically by setting the database parameter. PGA aggregate target. Oracle then contains the total amount of PGA, program global area memory allocated across all database server processes and the background processes within this target. The server process communicates with the Oracle instance on behalf of the user process. The program global area. This is the PGA, program global area. Memory reserved for each user process connecting to an Oracle database, allocated when a process is created, deallocated when the process is terminated, used by only one process. So, the server process communicates with user process. User process is a program that requests interaction with the Oracle server, must first establish a connection, does not interact directly with the Oracle server. So, the user process communicates with server process with establishing a connection. Establishing a connection and creating a session, connecting to an Oracle instance, establishing a user connection, creating a session. What means? So, in the database user, the user process communicates with server process, and the server process communicates with Oracle server. When user process communicates with server process, is the connection established. The connection is established. So when the server process is communicates with Oracle server, the session is created. I finish now. Please make like and subscribe and activate all notifications to receive the following Oracle instance. Thank you very much for your attention.